Hello. Welcome to another Pulusan stream. I'm kind of picking up where I left last time. So for a couple of streams I've been working on this custom driver for a MIDI controller, which is this Innovation Nocturne. And actually after the last stream I did quite a bit of work on my own. So I'll maybe show a little bit of that and where we're at right now. Hello, Biter's Cat says, last time I did reverse engineering I was using Ollie. Is that still a thing? I'm not familiar with Ollie, so I couldn't tell you. Yeah, the reverse engineering part for this device is actually pretty much done already, and I just used Wireshark for that. But yeah, let's have a look actually at the Git log. It's an old Win32 debugger / disassembler. Oh, I see. Yeah, I haven't used that. So I'm trying to remember, when did I actually stream? Because if I remember correctly, where we ended last time was I had gotten the configuration file format done and working. So okay, maybe let's look at that, because that has changed a little. So we have what is it called again? Okay, no, that's a different file. Nocturne. Oh yeah, well I have two of these now. So okay, so what this does at the moment is it can do either OSC or MIDI translation of the data coming from the controller and also going to the controller. So you specify it like this via the interface option, and for MIDI it just looks a little different. You give a client name. I'm not actually sure how that is used. I think it might depend on the platform that you're on. Core MIDI may not be using that at all. I'm not sure. And then an out port, which can be an existing MIDI port, so you could send to your audio interface, or like MIDI interface, directly from here. Or you can say virtual and then a port name, and then it creates like a virtual MIDI output port. And that's very nice because that lets you route the MIDI into your DAW or whatever program you have on your computer much easier. And then we have the mappings. The format here I think changed a bit as well. But yeah, so for example for the knobs I can give this kind of range object, and I say, well, there's 8 knobs, actually 9, but I'm talking about, oh, I'm not even showing the code. There we go. Okay. So yeah, interface here, MIDI in this case, mappings, a range looks like this. You give it a count and then a mapping which is basically the first mapping in that range. So I'm telling the program here that the first knob has control number 64, and yeah, then the range makes sure that consecutive ones from that are like used, so we get 65, 66, 67, and so on, all the way to 71, I think. Yeah, and then there's different modes for each control. So this is a relative control, so when you turn the encoder, it sends either positive or negative increments. So yeah, if we look at interpreter, I guess. No, actually, config.rs. So so yeah, there's 3 different kinds at the moment, and each kind may also have one of a number of different modes. So relative has a relative mode, and the relative mode can be either raw or accumulate. And so in raw mode, it just sends the the increments as they are. But in accumulate, it actually keeps track of the current absolute value, and then when I turn the knob, it like grows or shrinks that and sends that absolute value. So accumulate is more like what you would expect from just a MIDI controller, where you can turn the knobs and get a CC value into your DAW or whatever. Yeah, why don't I actually run this? If I remember correctly, I still don't have a argument. Yeah, no command line options yet, so it's just hard-coded to open the Nocturne MIDI file for now. But oh yeah, I need to run that in the correct folder, which is here. And then I also need to plug in the device. That helps. And try again. Okay, so we get a bunch of debug output spam, but this means it's connected. So now if I start turning, for example, this knob, and it's in accumulate mode, you can see that the value grows and shrinks as I turn this, as you would expect. So this logic previously I had in SuperCollider, but now this is part of the Rust program, so you can just set the mode to accumulate and you get this automatically, which I think is very handy. Then we have, no, why do I keep going to this one? Because it's called Nocturne MIDI. Okay. Yeah, then we have the touch inputs. So when you touch one of the knobs, it also sends on or off. So this is just how that is mapped. And that has a kind on-off. I don't know, maybe I should be calling this button or something. But on the other hand, like, these aren't buttons technically, it's just a thing you can touch or not touch, so I felt like on-off is maybe a bit more general, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so for on-off you also have different modes. Let's see, let me split this. So there's raw, which again just sends the raw data through. Then there's momentary, which yeah, it's pretty much the same as raw, except it also sends... Wait, is there a difference? I think it's pretty much the same. I'm not sure. Hello, Trumpy. What language is this? This is Rust. I'm not sure if there's a difference between raw and momentary. Well, with momentary you at least have the option of sending the current state to the controller, so that doesn't do anything with the knob touches, but it does something with the buttons, which actually have LEDs. So if I move forward to the buttons, those are now in toggle mode, meaning that if I press one, then the light turns on and it stays on, so if I press again it toggles it back off. So you can have like persistent buttons. And now just to show you, if I change this to momentary, then rerun the program, now if I press this, the light turns off on release. So yeah, in this mode it's sending like on when I'm pressing and sending off when I'm releasing, but in momentary it's, sorry, in toggle it's only sending like the changed state when I toggle it. So if it's on and I press, then it sends off. If it's off and I press, then it sends on, and if I release it doesn't send anything. But I like to have this in toggle. Something broke. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's on-off controls. And then as the final thing we have the crossfader, and that has a special control kind of 8-bit, because the crossfader sends an 8-bit value which is split into 2 bytes, because in MIDI you only have 7-bit values, and so if you want 8-bit you need 2 of those values, and that's just how this works. So this is specifying that we take the I think it's the high bits from control number 72 and the low bits from 73, and then we combine them. And then in this case that gets translated to a normal 7-bit MIDI CC value on CC number 72. And then there's also touch for the crossfader. Oh yeah, and finally the speed dial here, which is just another knob, but it's got a different color LED, and it's also got a button. I just mapped that separately because, I don't know, it feels like a distinct control from the other knobs. So, now that this is running, maybe I can show you that in oh right, this was the weird thing. So this is actually creating a virtual MIDI port right now, but for some reason it's not visible in audio MIDI setup. I don't know what's up with that. There's only IAC driver and my audio interface, which is also a MIDI interface. So that's a bit odd. But we can go into, I don't know, let's say Reason, and see that the port does indeed exist. second to start up. So okay, so the UI here is a bit buggy, but here we can see that it's automatically been mapped to an easy MIDI input. So we see the auto crap port right here. And for those of you who weren't here before, the software is called auto crap because it's a replacement for Novation Auto Map, which is now abandonware and doesn't run on newer operating systems. Well, maybe not a replacement, but it does some of the same things, some things it doesn't do, like paging. I'm thinking about maybe someday adding a way to do paging, but I don't know how it would look in terms of the JSON configuration. I'll have to think about that. But anyway, since we're in Reason, let's get some synth in here. I'm gonna add a note. Just have that play. So that's a sine wave right now. Maybe we can do something else. Oh, the loop didn't work. There we go. Yeah, let's go with this sawtooth wave. And let's run it through this filter. And now I can just say, for example, edit remote override mapping, and let's map that to, I don't know, this control. And I have to make sure that it takes the moving the knob control and not the touch off, because it sends both of them. Okay, so that should be mapped. And now if I turn this, I can open and close the filter. Great stuff. And you know, I could... You can't actually map these buttons here. That's interesting. Well, anyway. You could map this to all sorts of things. Maybe the on button here, yeah. So now if I have a second oscillator, I can turn it on with this button. And let's turn that up an octave, maybe give it another wave shape. Feed both of them into the filter. So yeah, basically it works now like a regular MIDI controller. Okay, that's enough Reason for now. What else? Oh yeah, I wanted to show something else that I've been playing with, which is actually not created by me, but I guess I've been contributing to it a little. And this is a thing called Kabel Salat. Oh, I want this in Chromium actually, because Firefox still doesn't have web MIDI for some reason. Do you stream on Twitch as well? Yes, I'm currently streaming on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube, so you can pick your preferred platform. So, what is Kabel Salat? It's this live codable modular synthesizer that runs in the browser, made by Felix Roos or Roos or I don't know, ROOS. Anyway, it's like a JavaScript DSL, more or less, for writing synth graphs and making music that way, and then it also gives you this nice little visualization of your graph. And the graph I have here is very complex because this is like it's a whole live performable Goa trance piece. So let me just play a bit of this for you and you can see how it's gonna work with my controller. So yeah, that's a little demo of what I can now once again do with this controller, despite the lack of software support from Novation. And yeah, so as you might be able to guess, Kabel Salat supports MIDI input, which is lovely. And yeah, I don't know if I want to go through this patch, there's a lot of stuff here. But you know, it's just oscillators, filters, delays, that kind of stuff put into this graph and then controlled by LFOs, noise generators, and also, of course, these MIDI inputs. So, yeah. Fun stuff. I'm really enjoying Kabel Salat. Give it a try if you are interested in this kind of thing. It is at felixroos.github.io. I can't really make that any bigger, I think, but maybe you can see the URL there. or just Google for Kabel Salat, or whatever search engine you prefer. Okay. But one thing that exists now in the OSC implementation in AutoCrab is that you can, from the computer, send OSC data to AutoCrab, and then that goes out to the controller, and that way you can control the LEDs via your own code. And that's something you would do with the controls in like raw mode, to implement your own kind of logic for stuff. So that works with OSC. It doesn't work with MIDI yet, so I was thinking I would like to implement that. And the relevant part of this code here is gonna be around here. Let me try to fit more of these lines on the screen. I'm not exactly adhering to 80 lines here, or I mean 80 column lines, and also since I'm using a big font it's a bit cramped, but that's life. Right, so here we have this code to run the OSC receiver. Basically we spawn a separate thread for that, but instead of that we should be either spawning a OSC receiver or a MIDI receiver depending on the interface setting in the configuration. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is rename this to just receiver thread. And yeah, then I guess we'll have to write a run MIDI receiver function to mirror this one. And just copy paste this and start tweaking it. I think we are gonna need some different arguments, but let's look at that in a moment. So the very first thing to do here is to check that we have the right kind of interface. And I guess in this case we should have interface : MIDI. So if we look at the interpreter, no, we look at the config. Yeah, so interface is an enum that can be MIDI or OSC, and then the interfaces have different settings depending on the type. So we change this to MIDI interface. Then we're gonna maybe need to use the client name here, and we're gonna have to add actually an input port. I'm getting weird errors from the syntax checker, I don't know why. But it's okay. So yeah, an import. So let's go back to the configuration, which is this one. So conceivably we would have an import that looks like this. So we're gonna have the same option here for either opening a existing MIDI input port or creating a new one with virtual. So actually if I go to the MIDI port here, oh yeah, there's 3 different ways to specify a MIDI port. It can be by index, or by name, or virtual. And where do we actually open that? I guess that's in main. Okay, yeah, currently it's just in the reader. This is gonna make for a bit of duplicated code for now, but it is alright. Yeah, so here we're gonna want the import. Is there a comma before the ellipsis? Yeah, I guess so. We don't need a UDP socket here. I don't think we need this buffer either. What we will need is okay, so it's a whole LED thing that looks like this. I'm just gonna copy that and tweak it for input instead of output. Although here we don't need this anymore. Actually, we don't need anything from here except the match, which I already had, so that's nice. So we're gonna match on import. Right, okay, but what is MIDI out? MIDI output new. So we're gonna have to make a MIDI in with the same logic, I believe. Although let's have a look at the documentation to make sure. And yeah, the crate or library I'm using for MIDI in Rust is this Meteor, which is a nice name. If you played Dark Souls 3, then you will recognize this as a particular dragon from that game. I don't know if this name actually comes from there or if it's just like MIDI Rust, but either way it's nice. Okay, yeah, new is just client name. And do we have ports? Yep. We have a port name method, so it looks like this pretty much mirrors the MIDI out, which is nice. So yeah, I think this is all we need. or getting the port by index. Then for by name, yeah, honestly it's pretty much search and replace from what I can tell. Although I'm doing it manually because I don't know. And then finally the virtual. Okay, let's see, do we have create virtual? It might be in a different place, because I remember it being a trait method, but yes, we do have that. So here the arguments are going to be a bit different from... Oh, right, they might actually be different in every case. Okay. So the arguments are port name, callback data. Hello, Chipion. How's it going? Yeah, I'm not thinking that actually all of these might take a callback. So these are using the connect method. Good, nice, nice. Okay, yeah, so connect also takes a callback and data, so I guess we'll have to define that. So we are not going to be doing this as a loop, and in fact that makes it a bit questionable whether we should be spawning a thread here at all. Okay, well, let's think about the callback. So that's gonna be a function, but what is the type? U64 slice of U8, and then mutable reference to T, and the T is our data, so we can pass like our own data structure to be used as state, I suppose. Okay, but what is the first argument? Timestamp, okay. Then we have the midi message, and finally we have our data. And I'm wondering what kind of data we want. You know what? I'm actually gonna implement this as a loop after all. And the way that's gonna work is we're gonna use MPSC channel . So we'll get a sender and a receiver. And all we're gonna do here is I don't think we need the timestamp at the moment, so we're just gonna send the message on to the receiver, and then what this loop will do is wait for the receiver and get values from that. I'm just gonna check how I actually did this before. Okay, so you just say receive. And then what we'll do for now is just print the message, I guess. Just adding some stuff to my playlist here. Okay. So, like this. And it looks like we're not even using data for anything, so we can just pass a unit, which is this parentheses thing. Basically a value that's nothing. Connect. Call back data. Oops, wrong place. Connect is here. And then create virtual, call back data. Okay. So now we have our run midi receiver method, but we do still need to actually run that. So we're gonna match on, what was it, config dot interface. Interface with an F. Yeah. So that's interface MIDI containing something. We don't actually care about what's in there right now because we're gonna unpack it in this method or function. Oh, hello, Kim. I like it. Background music. Thank you. This is my track, Lost MIDI Jam, from 2016-ish. Okay, this was run OSC receiver, so that goes there. And then here we just want run MIDI receiver. And I don't think we need this argument, so we should also remove it from here. Okay, let's try building. MIDI library you're trying, isn't it from Apple library? So the library I'm using is Meteor for Rust, and this is a cross-platform library that basically dispatches to the OS native library depending on the OS. So on macOS it will use Core MIDI. Oh, I have some syntax error here. Apple Foundation library, question mark. I'm not sure if Core MIDI is part of Foundation, but it is one of the operating system libraries. Yeah, a semicolon there. That should just be import. That should be a reference. Likewise there. Actually, instead of doing that, I think I can do ref here. No method named create virtual. Oh yeah, I need to bring in the trait for virtual input. Unreachable expression, yeah, that's fine for now. Implementation of fn mutable is not general enough. Okay, this is interesting. So that's wrapper library of core audio and core MIDI. Will it work with latest OS X with ARM core? So there's no core audio here, it's just MIDI. But I think it should work with latest OS X or Mac OS as it is now. What are they up to? 14, 15 soon? But I mean, I don't have an Apple Silicon Mac, so I can't actually test it. But the plan is to release this hopefully in the near future, and then I hope other people can test it. Oh, and we do have a new MacBook Pro at work, so I could maybe test it there as well. Yeah, actually I had problems with this library because the newest version of Meteor doesn't work with macOS 10.14 anymore, which is what I still have on here. So I had to downgrade to a earlier version, but it's fine, maybe. Okay, I think I have a guess as to what the issue is. So we haven't defined this data to be mutable, and also we should probably, whenever we pass it in, take a mutable reference to it. Like so, perhaps. You're really working hard on programming. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would call this working hard. It's kind of recreational programming. I just enjoy doing this. Oh yeah, here we also want to use a ref. TX does not live long enough. I wonder if we need some kind of scoped thing here again. So basically this. This is kind of a guess, really, but could work. But yeah, as for working hard on programming, the thing is, I've had this controller for a long time, and it's just been very frustrating to me that well, I mean, requiring automap in the first place was always annoying to me because it's just a bit of an awkward piece of software in my opinion. It's hard to automate things with it, like changing your mappings automatically, that kind of thing. Also just hard to change them in general because you have to go through this whole menu structure to do it, and yeah. And also, as I said before, it doesn't work on current operating systems, so basically if you have, for example, a macOS that's 10.15 or newer, then you just can't use this controller. It's just a paperweight. So I'm hoping to fix that, and I know other people also have these controllers and the same frustration. So it'll be nice to publish this. Right, so I'm not really convinced this can work like this, but let's give it a try. I think they already start so-called Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi MIDI. Maybe you can do something about it. To me, it's only just heard new tech. Yeah, maybe there is something like that. I haven't heard about it, but I mean, if I want wireless communication, I just use OSC generally, so personally I don't really have a need for that. And also don't have a controller that supports that. But yeah, it seems like wireless is the future, for better or for worse. And I mean, I think there's already ways to do MIDI over the network, and the network can be wireless. For example, if I remember correctly, there's something like that in... Okay, maybe I remember wrong. I know that exists in some operating system. Maybe it's a Linux thing, I don't know. Anyway. So index here. Hello Peter, Todd. There is network MIDI that can be wireless, I think, also Bluetooth of course. Yeah, exactly. Is there MIDI over Bluetooth? I don't think I've heard of that. I mean, of course you could implement it in theory. But as like a standard thing, I'm not sure that exists.
I'd like you to meet our very charming little drummer.
Yeah, I have a couple of things, standard and Apple things at least. Oh, interesting. Well, I mean, I'm very much behind on Apple stuff. My computer is from 2008, so... And also I'm still on macOS 10.14, so maybe it's a newer thing than this. Speaking of, oh yeah, I mentioned on last stream that I got a new computer, new as in a 2012 Mac Pro, and the person who sold it to me said it doesn't power on, so I got it for a very good price. And this weekend I spent a bunch of time diagnosing it, and it turns out that there's nothing wrong with it. I was eventually able to get it to turn on after disassembling it, because I was doing like this minimum configuration testing that the service manual recommends to diagnose problems. So basically you put in like a minimal set of components, try to power it on, press the diagnostic button, see what kind of LEDs light on, and then you add one thing and then you try again and, you know, see at what point it breaks. But yeah, at some point I noticed, well, I mean, the fans are turning on, but I didn't hear the startup chime. So then I thought, well, I'll try turning it on and just doing an NVRAM reset. You know, you hold the command Option PR while booting. And that actually fixed it. So, that was interesting, because the seller seemed like a kind of person who knows what they're doing, because they had tested a bunch of the components separately in another computer, so they told me the GPU works, the RAM works, the hard drive works. So I figured, well, surely they have tried an NVRAM reset, but don't know. And also, I guess it's possible that maybe some cable was a bit loose or something, and then when I disassembled and put everything back together, then that also, like, fixed something. I don't know. But yeah, it works perfectly, and that's gonna be my new computer, but I am waiting for some more parts to upgrade it, because as it is, it has this Apple HD 5770 GPU, which is very old and slow and doesn't even work with 10.14, so yeah, I'm upgrading the GPU, I'm upgrading the CPU actually, getting the fastest Xeon you can put in there, getting more RAM, also getting this PCIe adapter for an M2 SSD, so I can have fast storage. So once I get all that, that will become my new computer eventually. Well, good luck for you. Yeah, it happens. Magnet charger plug loosen up a bit. Some people don't think troubleshooting. Well, it's not a magnet plug, I mean, it's a Mac Pro, not a MacBook Pro, so it's like a big desktop. I don't think there's any magnetic plugs in there, but yeah, it could be that some of the internal connectors were just a bit loose. or it really was just the NVRAM reset. Because yeah, I assume that they have done that, so I didn't try the NVRAM reset at first myself with all the components still in, although in hindsight I should have tried that as the first thing, of course. Because, like, never trust what anyone else says about the computer you're buying. Try it yourself. But yeah, that was a happy surprise, because I was thinking I might have to replace the power supply or something even more expensive, like the, what is it called, the backplane board, or the, yeah, something like that. It can be easy to miss something seemingly obvious. Yeah. And my suspicion is that the seller, they might be like a person who knows about computer hardware and PCs, but they don't know about Macs specifically, so they just didn't know that NVRAM reset is a thing at all. But yeah, we got lucky there. I actually have a bit of a streak of good luck with Mac Pros. The one I'm using now I got in 2011 for a very good price as well, so. So what's GPU memory? 2012, right? Yeah, it's 2012. It right now has 8 gigs of memory, which is it's not enough. I mean, I have 32 gigs in this thing, and I ordered 48 for the new one. The GPU I ordered is an RX 580 with, I think, 8 gigs of VRAM. That's one of the most popular ones for like high-end Mac Pros, although, I mean, it is also getting a bit old at this point, but I don't do any super GPU heavy work on my Macs anyway, so it should do the job. And it'll definitely be faster than what I have in this one, which is a 7870 Radeon. Anyway, so yeah, I'm having these kind of weird errors. Implementation of FN mutable is not general enough. And we still have a lifetime error. I wonder if it helps if I put the data definition here as well. Oh, by the way, small thing, but I'm so proud of this. In Emacs, when you compile stuff using the built-in compile command, it does this like automatic error detection, so you can just press tab to move between errors, or in this case also warnings. And I was getting a bit annoyed because I just want to find the errors usually when I'm trying to build something and maybe worry about the warnings later, so I didn't have a way to do that. But I defined an elisp function that sets temporarily this variable that specifies like what level of errors or messages to cycle between. So now I can just hold Option and Tab, and then that'll cycle between errors instead of errors, warnings, and everything. So that's a really nice workflow improvement for me. But yeah, so the question now is, what do I actually need to do with this? Do you really think GPU driver will become for Mac version CD or something, your new GPU card? I'm not sure what you mean by CD or something, but macOS does have driver for the RX 580, because it was like a supported GPU for, yeah, well, for Mac Pros, because the thing about Mac Pros is, or at least used to be, upgradability, so you could switch out the GPU, and that was actually supported by Apple. And I mean, there's a lot of models that aren't supported, but this is one of the supported ones. And also part of that, well, I'm not sure if this one is specifically supported by Apple or if some similar model is supported by Apple and then maybe OpenCore people have made sure to like make this work. Yeah, I don't know. But it is supported with OpenCore for sure. Emacs improvement I like, I will try in my free time. Yeah, it is lovely. I really appreciate being able to tweak these very small things that maybe don't save that much time, or, well, at least it takes a while for them to add up to saving a bunch of significant time, but anyway, it's just kind of an annoyance that previously, if I wanted to find errors, then I had to go into search mode and type error, and then I would find the error, and it wouldn't even bring me to this line, which, if you go to this line with the line number, you can just hit enter and it opens that line, like in the file buffer. You sure 64 bits machine Intel Xeon, right? Yes, absolutely. Even my current 2008 is 64-bit. Little things that save a mental cache miss. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Especially when you have this keyboard shortcut and you get used to it and it becomes like muscle memory. But yeah, I keep getting distracted, but I don't think the scope here is helping anything, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And maybe let's take a look at an example from Meteor, because I think they have something about reading MIDI input. Wait, not here. Maybe on the GitHub. How do I get to the GitHub? There's so much stuff on this docs.rs interface that it can be hard to find the one thing. There it is, okay. Also, like, everything here is just a gray, so not very visually distinct. So there's some feedback for docs.rs developers who will probably not be watching this stream, but hey. Yeah, examples. Okay, so the only major difference I can see here is that they're using a move callback. Maybe I can try that, and also I guess I can just remove that. Okay, and I'm not supposed to pass immutable reference to data, but just data. Yeah, there is a lifetime issue, and I wonder if it has to do with me declaring this or defining this callback here and then using it in all these different branches. I don't know. Also, this is just not very easy to read at the moment. So what if I just write out the callback each time? And one more time. Like so. Borrow data escapes outside the closure. Okay. Well, how about I actually give the tx as my data parameter? Then I don't need this anymore. Okay, I think the issue now is that so the type of message is what? Oh yeah, that's a slice reference, so we can't pass that in. I guess we have to clone it or something. Or yeah, probably. Or maybe turn it into a vec. To vec. Now, I'm not entirely happy about this because this is gonna allocate. But I haven't really been optimizing this yet, and to be honest, it might not even be necessary for this kind of application. But there's always the option of doing that later once I have all the functionality in place. Oh, is it working? I think it is. Yes! Okay. Now it'll be a very cheap allocation surely, and not super frequent. Well, I mean, it depends. If you're making a light show with the LEDs, then you're gonna be sending a lot of data in, and then it's gonna be a fairly frequent allocation, but it's not like we're dealing with audio right here, so yeah, probably not gonna matter. And yes, it is very cheap. What is it, like 2-3 bytes or something? So yeah, not a huge deal, but it's just I've been working with audio stuff so much lately that I have this impulse to like avoid allocations whenever possible. Which I think is like a good habit to have in general, but it's also good not to let it get in your way. Fairly like a few dozen things a second, not enough to matter. Yeah, exactly. I wanted to bring this thing up. So from the perspective of Super Collider, what we need to do is open a MIDI output. Well, I guess we want a MIDI client in it. And yeah, we can see AutoCrap now both as a source and a destination, as it should be. Then let's grab hold on, I always forget how to do this. First of all, let's collect. Okay, so we can do okay, and this should be now detect and not collect. And there it is. So now we should be able to send something and have it show up here. Okay, what is MIDI out? Right, it's a MIDI endpoint. Oh yeah, there's another way to do this, which I believe is MIDI out, and then I think it's new by name, device name, port name. Yeah. This, I seem to recall, does not work on Linux, but I'm not gonna worry about that yet. Okay, now we have MIDI out, and now we should be able to send. And nothing has happened. So input from the controller is working. Also, I'm not using print line, which I do want to be using. So maybe it did print something, but it got buffered and didn't come out. Let's do that again. Oh, I probably need to init again. Okay. Now we are getting our data. I don't know if it's just Emacs, but there seems to be a bit of a delay. It could be just Emacs because it has to colorize this output and everything. But, okay. So we are getting data. Then what do we do with that data? Basically, we want to do the equivalent of this block over here. So we want to invoke the interpreter and a handle midi method on that. And I'm just gonna put this error case here that if we don't get anything as a response from the interpreter, then it's unhandled and we print the raw bytes. Oh yeah, now I'm realizing that I actually do want the control sender that I had here before, but then I removed prematurely. So let's bring that back. And that goes... Oh yeah, this is now called OSC receiver, control TX. But I guess it can be just receiver. So we pass that in here. And with that, let me expand this again. Yeah, I think this basically stays as it is, but then all we need to do is implement this handle MIDI. So now we can go into interpreter, and interpreter here is not like a programming language interpreter, but rather it's like a so you get, for example, MIDI in and then the automap protocol out. And there is already a handle OSC method on interpreter, so let's just duplicate that. Okay, I think audio is back now. Thank you, Peter Todd, for pointing that out. Also, I'm noticing TikTok comments are not coming through, although they were previously, so I don't know what's up with that. Let me maybe restart my thing here. Okay, that looks better. I don't know when these came in, but I'm gonna answer the questions anyway. Or question. Kuno asks, what am I developing? So this is a custom driver for this Novation Nocturne MIDI controller, which originally was powered by the proprietary Novation Automap software, but that's now abandonware, so it doesn't run on new computers or new operating systems. So I decided to make my own replacement. And that is what we're dealing with here. And Emil Gonzo says, hello, great stream. Hello and thank you. Yeah, it seems like my audio interface that's on the streaming PC is having some issues, so please do point out if the audio breaks again. Or I suppose I can keep the OBS meter visible. Yeah, maybe that's fine. Right, so where was I? Yeah, I wanted to look at what exactly do we have in on-off logic. So we have MIDI spec, possibly. Right, so first we check that does this control actually support output to the controller? So that's the same as do we have a control out num? Then otherwise, or like if we do, then we check if we have a MIDI spec. Like so. And hold on, let me check what is actually in a MIDI spec. I feel like I've done something wrong here, because... Oh wait, no. Okay, yeah. Right. So I assume that the input number is gonna be the same as the output number, or I enforce that pretty much at this point. So that's fine. Then... eventually I want to invoke self-update. I don't need this, but I'll leave it in there for a moment. Don't need this. So what we want to check is actually, do we have a message that looks like this? So Yeah, I guess we'll just check if message length is not 3. Return none. Now, at this point, we know we have 3 elements. We want to check the first one. Okay, now I need to look at the MIDI specification. Because the first one encodes the information that this is a control change message and then also the channel number. Right, okay, so the first 4 bits are control change indicator, this is the channel, and then we have the number and the value. Okay, so what we want to do is check the first byte. We want to AND that with this. And we want to check that that is okay, maybe there's another way actually. Let's define minimum status, which is this, and then maximum status, which is it's actually not this, but 1011. That's the first 4 bytes, and then this. So if we have something between these, then we are happy. So if I'm inverting my if statements here, it's gonna be, oh yeah, and also let me just give names to all these 3 bytes. I'm not sure if there's like a, what is it called? A splat or that kind of operator in Rust. Or I could do this in one line, but this is fine. So, if status is less than min status or status is more than max status, then this is not what we're looking for. Oh yeah, now it occurs to me. Ah, right. We have the channel number here, so we could actually do this directly without all of this. Okay, one more revision. So what we're looking for is a status that equals this ORed with midi spec.channel, right? Because this is gonna be a number from 0 to 15, so it'll just fill in these bits here. And that's our check. Nice, that's much more elegant than what I was gonna do. Yeah. With that, I think we are pretty much done. No, we're not. We still need to check the CC number, of course. Ugh. So hello, Wower says very cool. Thank you. Right, so if num, also this should be not equals, of course, because we're failing if that is true. And then we do something similar here, and that's just if num is not equal to midi spec dot num, return none. Okay, and with that we have all our checks. Then we just call self update with, what is it, val is not equal to 0, and I believe that should do it. Let's try. And this should be if let. No, it should be let else. Yeah. What else? Semicolon. Yeah, and that should be just an equal sign. Not all traits are implemented. Okay, yeah. Because I added handle midi to the trait, but I didn't implement it in every class yet. Or every struct that implements or tries to implement the trait. So we'll have to put something here. This is which one? 8-bit logic. Actually, in this case, I think we can leave it empty. Because the only 8-bit control is the crossfader and it doesn't support output, so I don't need to do anything here. Then the last one is to do this for the relative logic. And here I'm just gonna put unimplemented for now. We're gonna get to it in a moment. But I just wanna test the button logic. No field MIDI spec. Huh. Oh, right. It is just called MIDI. Still got a rogue not equals, I think. No, I don't think so. This one is correct. Or okay. So now we can try it out. Let's go back into Super Collider. So now if I init, get the MIDI out, and then what was the control number? Okay, these start from 112. So now I can send, for example, 0 or 127, and if I send 127, ideally this button here should light up. Okay, it doesn't. Rather, it panics with not implemented. Oh, I see. Okay, that's because when interpreter dispatches handle MIDI to the control logics. It goes through all of these and it does call handle MIDI also for the knobs, and then it runs into unimplemented, so we just need to return none here for the time being. And that should take care of it. I'll need to get rid of the semicolon there. Okay. Let's give that another try. So now, let me actually just group this so it's easier to rerun. Now, if I hit Alt-Enter on this, it should light up the first button. Yes. And then if I run this one, it should turn it off. Yep. And I do seem to notice a bit of delay even here. Don't know what's up with that, but I'm not gonna care about it too much right now. So now we could go through 112 to, what is it? Plus 15. And we could do this loop here. And just set all of them on. Or not, apparently. Oh. Okay, there's something weird with my super collider mode here. It doesn't always detect the surrounding parentheses correctly. But yeah, that turned everything on. And that turns everything off. Nice. Alright, then we just need to deal with this one, which is the relative logic, and that's the logic for the encoders. So let's go to handle MIDI. I'm gonna copy this whole implementation because it will look very similar. So we check whether we have an output number, we check that we have a MIDI spec, we check that the length is 3, we check that the status is CC and it's on the right channel, we check that the num is correct, and then I think the only thing we need to change here is we just pass val directly to update, because update for relative logic takes a single byte as its new state, unlike on-off logic, which takes a boolean, so that's why we had to have the does not equal 0 for that one. Okay. And now we should be able to set the encoders from Super Collider. If I just remember what the numbers are. Uh, 64 and onward, okay. I'm gonna copy this 64 and 64 plus 7, because we have 8 of them. Alright, so let's say I set these halfway. Oh, I do need to do that again. Yep. All of the knobs are now set halfway. And now I think also, if I start turning, it should track the state correctly and, you know, start moving from that halfway point instead of resetting to something else. And that does seem to be the case. We can set everything to 127 for maximum LEDs. Actually, this right here is maximum LEDs. And you know what? With that, I think this is looking pretty much feature complete. Which is quite nice. We have made good progress. Okay, maybe at this point I can fix some of the warnings here. Bunch of unused variables. Maybe I can actually call all of these num instead of just num underscore. Just to give a bit of clarity of purpose. Oh yeah, we're not using this for anything. I'll leave that warning in because it's a reminder that I need to look into how to actually, or how those names actually work here. Okay, and then here we're assigning this to MIDI but not actually using it for anything. Oh yeah, I need to leave that in as well. It's fine that we don't use time here. What's not fine is this repetition here, in my opinion. Like 3 blocks like this, it's a bit silly. But I will figure out how to refactor that at a later time. Okay, so we still have warnings, but now all of them are about things I actually need to look into at some point, so that's good. With that, I am gonna commit my changes. What should the message be? MIDI output, I guess. Alright. That's very nice. So then, the second part of tonight's stream that I had in mind was, because I've been talking about this being cross-platform, so the thing would be to actually test it on another platform besides macOS, and specifically I'm interested in Linux because Automap never supported Linux, and yeah, that's just something I'm gonna try. So my only Linux not desktop but laptop, my only non-server or non-embedded Linux machine is this triple EPC, or EPC, however you say that. It's got Debian 32-bit on it. So that is something that I wanna test with. Let's see if I can make space for this here. I need to clean up a little. Because I work on lots of projects, so I end up with all sorts of crap on the table. Maybe we can do a bit of a treasure hunt, see what we find here. So, audio cable, 3.5mm TRS, yay. That goes in the cable drawer. USB splitter cable. USB-A to USB-C cable. Oh, the TikTok stream has ended for some reason. TikTok streaming can be so annoying. Or has it ended? I don't know, it told me it had ended, but then when I tried to go live again it said you're already live, so don't know what's up with that. Okay. Another mini stereo TRS cable. My beautiful Xbox controller. USB-A to USB mini B cable. The old RAM and SSD from this EPC before I upgraded them. Don't really have a good place for those right now, so they just go in the other pile of stuff that is a little bit less in the way. High endurance micro SD card. M2 SSD to USB adapter along with cables. Another USB-A to USB-C cable. Like, I make a point of using these old Macs that have internal expansion for like storage and stuff. Imagine how much cabling and stuff there would be on my desk if I didn't have that and I had to use like external hard drives for my storage. Well, probably would put everything on my NAS in that case, but this is the USB isolator that I've been using with my iBook because it gets a nasty ground loop with the audio when I use the mini VGA to VGA and I guess more importantly the VGA to HDMI adapter simultaneously on that computer. CycloDS Evolution microSD USB adapter. There's also a card in here. I don't know what card this is, but it can go in there. Green marker. Okay, I think now the only cables that are left are ones that I'm actually using. So I can put this here. Plug in the power. And turn it on. And while this boots, and that takes a while, I'm gonna take a short break to get something to drink. So I will be right back. Alright, hello again. So, next up we're gonna test on Linux. And I realized that if I want all of you to see my Linux computer screen, I need this VGA to HDMI adapter. So I spent a moment looking for this. Okay, the VGA is on the right side. Yeah, I guess I can show you my desk now while I set this up. So I'm gonna need an HDMI cable from here. Okay, so this goes here, and then on the other end, it's to my capture card. Which is gonna be this. Oh, that's not the right cable. I wonder if my adapter still works. I don't remember if there's supposed to be some kind of light turning on. Also, I'm not sure what I have to do to set up multiple displays with Linux, because I don't really have a desktop environment. I'm using i3. Let's see. Okay, so it is recognizing the VGA connection. It's not showing my current resolution as an option for the VGA though. That could be a problem. Okay, so I'm seeing some X, R, and R commands. I'm gonna try these. Mode. 1024 by 600. Output HA1. Mode, let's just pick the closest resolution, which is 1280 by 800. No, it's not. It's 1024 by 768. Same as LVDS1. Okay, I think it worked. So the only issue with this is that it's quite small. So let me try a lower resolution. I guess we can try 800 by 600. That's supported by both outputs. That's still not super visible, I think. Because I have my fonts set up here so that they're super small and crisp on the built-in display, and it's kind of hard to change them. Well, this I think is the best we're gonna get. So, welcome to Linux. I've already installed Cargo and Rust and everything here beforehand, so we don't need to spend time on that. Also, it's amazing to me that this laptop, this netbook, has 3 USB ports. That's more than, I think, all the Mac laptops I've owned. So, yeah, I installed Rust, everything. So, yeah, and then on the break I also went ahead and cloned the autocrap repository here with the latest code. So then what I need is Q jack control, because we need to start up jack. Okay, then I guess I should just try to cargo build and also spell it right. Wait, what? Huh. There isn't actually anything in here. Okay, I'm not sure what this means. Remote head refers to non-existent ref. Okay, yeah, I just had to switch to the main branch manually for some reason. So, we have the code. Let's try cargo build again. This might take a while. It's not the fastest laptop. So we'll just sit here and wait for cargo to build all the dependencies. Looks like it was pretty fast at downloading them, which is a nice surprise. I guess there's nothing too heavy in here. It's looking good so far. Okay, so interesting thing about TikTok. Apparently, while I was getting my drink and I had the be right back screen on, they restricted my visibility for, you know, not having anything happening, and then I came back, I appealed it, and the appeal was rejected, so... You know what, I'm gonna try to restart the TikTok stream just in case. Okay, we are back on TikTok. We'll see how that works out. I have some thoughts about this platform, but let's not get into that. Or maybe I will get into that. Like, why is it such a problem that I take a break? Am I supposed to turn the live off for like the few minutes that I'm elsewhere? Or what's the idea there? I really don't get it. Maybe I will do that in the future then. But yeah. So, we are making good progress on compiling here. 40 out of 52. No idea how long this is gonna take though. Now it's doing 30, which I guess is one of the bigger and more complex code bases. And yeah, I haven't actually used MIDI on this laptop before, so it'll be interesting. I now wonder if, before I even do this, I should try to get it working with like a regular class-compliant MIDI controller. That might make sense. Because then there's like less variables to deal with at one time, if I can make that work first. Yeah, maybe I'll do that actually. So for that we can use the MIDI Fighter Twister here. Although, I was thinking I'll experiment with supercollider MIDI while this is compiling, but because it's a single core computer, it doesn't do a lot of multitasking, so I think it's best to just wait. I mean, it does multitasking, but it'll slow down a lot if I do something else simultaneously. So, getting our warnings. So now it's reached my code. Okay, finished. Let's just see if I run this, what happens. Access denied. Okay. Do I need to be in a specific group for this to work? How do I make libUSB work as non-root? Okay, so I think I need to set like UDEV rules for this to work. Okay, well, let's do that. So we are gonna edit etc slash udev slash rulesd call it Nocturne. I'm gonna have to enter my password. Okay, so what we need to put in here. Oh, actually, this needs to start with a number. Well, I'm not sure if it needs to, but probably should. Let's give it 50. Oh no, that's... I'm reading here from Stack Overflow at the same time, so the number is any number greater than 50. Okay. Higher numbers take priority, so let's go 51. Then we are gonna type subsystem equals double equals. USB, comma, utters, curly braces, ID, vendor, equals, and then here I need to put the vendor ID, but now the question is, does it need to be in decimal or hex? Apparently it's hex, okay. So I need to look those up, or actually I can check them from my configuration here. So let's go. Nocturne midi JSON. Oh yeah, and then I need to convert. With Python, maybe? How does this work again? Something like this. Okay, yeah, that seems to be the correct syntax. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 5. Then we want to set, or I guess match against also the ID product. And that's gonna be product ID 10. Well, that's just 000A, right? I know that much, hex. And then we just have to set the mode. So that shall be 666, so everyone can read and write. Okay, then we can save and run udev atom control -- reload rules. Okay, I don't have udev atom. So that is supposed to exist. Is it in like sbin or something? Oh, I typed it wrong. That explains things. Okay, let's try again. Still access denied. What about if I unplug and replug? Okay. It started, but we get a new kind of error. So we're getting busy out of something. Let's open Emacs here. It's gonna take a moment on this old computer. And I mean, this was never a very powerful computer even when it was new, so... Okay, there we go. And actually we can now close the terminal because we can just do compile from Emacs. So, documents, autocrap, mx compile, and the command is cargo run. So now we can have a look at what exactly that line is. Configure endpoint. And the only thing that happens in there is claim interface. So let me have a look at the RUSB documentation, which, sorry, but you're not gonna be able to see right now. But I'm gonna search for claim interface. Here. Well, it just tells me that means resource busy, but why though? That is the question. Oh, it occurs to me, this doesn't have anything to do with the error, but I could just SSH into this thing and keep my Mac display visible. Let's do that. So I am gonna have to type some passwords. So it can't find the cargo. I guess I have to specify the path. Or actually I can do No, wait, I need to give the command. Is it with C? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're getting resource busy for some reason. Okay, so it might be that it's being claimed by the kernel somehow, but that's a bit weird. Let me also open a terminal on there. How do I find the USB device? I mean, it doesn't really matter. I guess I can do the deauthorize thing even without knowing this, but okay, I guess this might mean that it is using some kind of driver for it. What is UHCIHCD? Well, I know what UHCI is, but what is HCD? I guess it's maybe just host controller driver. Okay, well, I'm gonna try this. Oh yeah, maybe I should see them. If yeah, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I am gonna look at the file that I just created before. So this is gonna be etc udav rules d nocturne. Oh, okay. TikTok chat integration is not working again. Let me just restart that. So hello, Winos and Hellfried, loving the stream. Nice, thank you. Password was on a piece of paper, or why did you turn the cam off? No, it's actually because I have a camera, overhead camera here that shows my keyboard, so that's why I turn it off. But yeah, so sure. So I guess we just want to add this attribute authorized. And then what was the command again? UDEV atom control reload rules. Plug it in again. Let's try rerunning this. Well, now I get not found. That's not really an improvement. Let's see here, so not found means entity not found, but it doesn't mean device not found. So we open the device successfully, we get the manufacturer and product. Okay, what are we actually trying here? I'm gonna print the endpoint value here. So we found the control in endpoint and the out endpoint. And we're trying to claim interface 0, I guess. but somehow it's not found. Yeah, and this looks like it takes an interface number. Oh, here's actually an interesting method. Maybe we should try this one. Instead of the manual thing in the UDEV rules. So, configure interface or endpoint. Now let's do it before that. So it goes here. And it's handle, and we set it to true. Then maybe here I can just remove this stuff. Oh yeah, I should actually call unwrap on that. Okay, that seems to have done something, because now we get a different error. Receive error on the receiver here. That's weird. The receive operation can only fail if the sending half of a channel is disconnected. Well, why would it be disconnected though? So we are in run midi receiver. The only way I can see this happening is if this MIDI port business is somehow failing, but I don't see any error suggesting that, at least. Should maybe print this at least. So let's see if we're actually getting a MIDI input port at all. Yes. Wait, and no, it didn't fail. The buttons work. And the encoders work. Interesting. Could it be that the port was getting dropped because I didn't have a reference to it? Yeah, I guess that could happen. But I wonder why it worked on macOS then. That's a bit strange. But I guess it doesn't matter. We need to handle the MIDI port or the possible absence of it. So if we don't have MIDI, hello VRM sick track, thank you. It's gonna get even better. So I guess this is what I'll do. In this case, return, what is it? Well, we need to return some kind of error, but is it even possible for this to be none at this point? Okay, something like this. Just anything so that we handle it somehow. Okay, well, that seems to make it work. I'm happy with that. Then I think I have to return to actually using the laptop not over SSH but over its actual keyboard and trackpad. So let's put the display back on. Okay, here we go again. So yeah, what we can do now is actually run Super Collider on this machine. Let's make a new document. Okay. So in Super Collider, what I was doing before, I guess midi in dot connect all is a thing. And immediately here we see that we also do have the virtual in and out ports, which is great. Then I guess I can just go ahead and create a midi def. Let's call this CC test. I forget what kind of arguments we're gonna get. Oh yeah, I don't have the help browser on this machine. Because Super Collider won't start with Qt Web Engine on this 32-bit OS. Okay, I'm just gonna look it up on my other computer here. What's it called? CC. So I guess we have to specify the control number and channel. Okay, well, I can just go ahead and make 8 of these, because there's 8 knobs. And then I'll call it actually knob plus plus, and we'll have an index I here. And use that, turn this into a symbol. So the CC number. CC number channel. Okay, so that's the order. And I think we had 64 was the first one, so we'll just add I to that. And then channel was 0. And for now, I'm just gonna print our arguments. Okay, and now let's try moving a knob. Yes! We are indeed getting values. So, that's great. I wonder if it is possibly the first time in the world that this controller is successfully being used with Linux. I mean, it might be that someone's like ran automap in Wine or something, but it also could be that no one's even bothered trying. So either way, this is great. I have a piece written in Super Collider that's like, it's not a finished piece, but there's elements of one that I have on this laptop, and that I was thinking I could maybe map that to this controller so that I can like play it live, toggle patterns, tweak some parameters and whatnot. But I don't think I'm gonna do that tonight. It's getting late and I have work tomorrow. But let's commit the changes to auto crap. I'm just gonna write here, fix Linux issues. Okay. And, yeah. So what did we do? We implemented MIDI output to the controller. Actually, let's just make sure that that also works from Linux. I don't see why it wouldn't, but since we are here, so we'll go with MIDI client.init. And now actually I'm not sure if I can do this thing that I did on Mac, where it's auto crap. This keyboard, by the way, is a little challenging to type on. The keys are very small, but I'm managing somehow. Run this. Oh, yeah, that does seem to work. That's great. Then let's just try sending control. And I think it was channel number value. So if I send this, the first knob should light all the way up. Yes! Amazing! Oh, that's great. I'm very happy with this. And now that I've come this far with AutoCrap, I guess I should be starting to make a release of it. So if all goes well, I will do that sometime this week. Maybe even tomorrow if I have energy, but we'll see. And yeah, the plan is that the first release just supports the Nocturne, but of course there are other AutoMap compatible controllers, and I don't have any of those, but I would be happy to implement support for more of them. So if you have another AutoMap controller, please get in touch with me. You can find, I mean, if you're on one of the platforms, I guess you can find my contact info via them, like YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, whatever. My website should be linked in all of those. It's pulusound.fi for Finland. And you can find my email on there and various other contact options. So if you have another AutoMap controller, please get in touch and we will make sure it is supported by AutoCrap and save all the rest of the AutoMap controller users from planned obsolescence. Okay, one final note on that last bit, so planned obsolescence. Some people might argue that what Novation did here is not planned obsolescence per se. I mean, this controller came out in, what was it, 2008 or something? So they did support it for quite a long time. But yeah, I mean, it could be unplanned obsolescence where they just don't have the resources to, you know, support and develop AutoMap anymore because they have to support all their newer products and there's limited amounts of developer time. However, the planned part, I would argue, is in not giving this controller a class-compliant MIDI implementation. Because if it had that, then this would not be an issue in the first place. We could just use the class-compliant stuff and yeah. But that's not a thing, so they specifically made this only work with AutoMap, where AutoMap is what creates the virtual MIDI port and then sends MIDI through that. So all the logic has to happen on the computer. So that is the part that I would argue is planned. Because when you're releasing some software, I mean, as a software developer, you know that you probably are not gonna support it forever. So then that means there is, from the beginning, some unspecified point in time at which this hardware will no longer work with newer operating systems and such. Also, they could have released the source code for AutoMap so the community could, you know, take it into our own hands and keep it alive that way. But they didn't. So here I am, trying to fix the situation on my own. And succeeding at it, I would like to add. But yeah, AutoCrap release coming hopefully this week. It's gonna be free and open source. I need to figure out what kind of license I wanna publish it under. I don't really know. If you have any thoughts on that, let me know. yeah, please look forward to that if you are a user of one of these controllers. Otherwise, just look forward to it as, I don't know, an improvement of the state of software support for old MIDI controllers. And also as like additional hardware support for Linux. That's nice, right? Okay, but that'll be it for tonight, and this week my partner's away from home, so I have a lot of time to myself, so I might do more streams this week, but it depends on how I'm feeling after work. At work I'm working with computer vision, and it's been something. We have USB cameras that sometimes produce corrupted frames, and the corruption is like you'll have half of the old image and half of the new image. There's like a seam in between them, and those occasional broken frames mess up all our computer vision code. So what I've been working on is like detecting those broken frames, and I got it working today, but it needs a lot of optimization, and I'm not entirely sure if it will be fast enough yet, but yeah, that's what I'm dealing with in the daytime. Hello, Omikorin. Come on, I entered the stream at the end. Yeah, it's like that sometimes. But if you want to watch the whole thing, the video is gonna be on YouTube. And you can maybe join me on one of, hopefully, the other days this week. Possibly already tomorrow, we'll have to see. But yeah, thank you for joining. Have a good night or whatever your time of day is. And I will see you on a future stream. Bye bye.